Hey everyone, happy Friday. I wanted to share another insight with you on taking responsibility away from controlling your mind. So if you look at your body, right, it functions on its own without your doing. So you have your heart that's beating, blood to your organs. You have your lungs that are taking in air, inhaling, exhaling without your control. I mean, you can to some degree inhale deeper at other times, consciously doing it, but it's not necessary for you to breathe. You have your kidneys, which are emptying waste. And this is doing it without your conscious control. So then why do we choose the brain as our organ to control? Can you be, what's the word I'm looking for? Can you, sorry, I'm like tired from this day, be impartial? So like to stop going to your brain to try and control it, because it's going to function the way it's going to function, right? And at first, yeah, the OC's going to come in like, oh my God, I need to control these thoughts. Like, actually, no, you don't. So what if you stop trying to control it and you let it do its thing and act as any other organ? Stop giving it special treatment. We give our brain such special treatment. We do all this study. How do I get rid of my OCD? How do I control my mind? How do I become this? How do I become that? How do I do this? How do I do that? And when we create an identity from this organ, we are losing touch with the rest of reality and what it means to just be in our bodies, right? So if you can relinquish your control from that and trust that your brain will function fine without you micromanaging it. So just as you can see, trying to give another example here, like the contents of your stomach is digesting, right? The food, the particles is all in your stomach and it's digesting. So what makes the stuff in your brain any different? The thoughts in your head. Do you consciously control how your food is being digested? So why do you have to manipulate your thoughts and control them, micromanage them? Don't you get exhausted sometimes thinking about thinking? I know I do. And it's like, wait, I've noticed that I'm leaving. So it's kind of like rooting yourself in your body, your heart. And I've mentioned this metaphor in the past. It's kind of like making your brain like an attic that you can resort to when you want, but you're not living up there entirely. So it's coming down into the center, your heart space, and not even identifying with any body organ in particular, but being impartial to all your body organs. Now, of course, you need your brain to, get by, decide what food you need, take care of like your basic requirements, right? But we don't need to micromanage the micromanager because the brain's already doing what it does. And then I think we drive ourselves crazy when we try to control our brain. And when we can just treat the brain as simply an organ that's part of our body and stop creating an identity out of this organ. Like you exist, and this kind of gets into more spiritually speaking, like non-identification, not even spiritually, but like non-identification. Like being the awareness that sees, like instead of being like, this is my hair. Like we as humans, we label. Like you don't see a dog walking around or a cat. Like you don't see these animals walking around with these complex, labeling. Like this is my paw, this is my nose, this is my whiskers. Like no, they just are. That's just what they are. And just as we are just humans, but that's a label that we've placed on ourselves. So if you can just be without the labels, it really gives you a chance to be in direct experience with what you actually are, which is none of that. It's not your thoughts. You're not anything. You're not your labels. But over time, we create this, I'm this way, I'm that way. But this is just a content, a little piece, a thought in your head. It's mind stuff. It's mind digestion. just as your stomach is digesting the food you eat, right? So, takeaway message, notice when you're identifying with the mind and realizing, oh, I'm giving this organ very special importance. Thinking about the thinking, getting really inside it, trying to control it. Whereas there's something that's guiding us without that. Our body is breathing and living by itself. As long as we're taking care of it, you're drinking, you're eating. You don't have to micromanage this organ. Just like you don't micromanage your heart, you don't micromanage your lungs. You don't micromanage your legs, right? So see how letting go of control can work for you. You are not your brain. You're not any of this. You're not you. You're just this existence, this presence. If you can tap into the consciousness, the awareness that is this body, that is God, it's like kind of like like this greater consciousness that you are just the vehicle and the consciousness is driving you. So notice the urge to identify with your mind and the thoughts and say, I don't need to do this. Relinquish that control, relinquish that responsibility that you put on yourself. Because when we have OCD, we feel we have responsibility when it becomes this hypervigilance to be a certain way, to do a certain thing, to think certain thoughts. But again, like, less is more in this sense, right? The more you try and focus on what you're trying to get rid of, the more you're going to have that thought. But the more if you can realize, like, I'm none of this, I don't need to control. Control is just another aspect of that mind. So I hope this was helpful. I will talk to you soon.